would call me ये daily worker है. During De De Pyar De, I remember. She's not an actor. More discipline that I'll tell myself not beyond 2 hours, my eyes will get spoiled. Thak, I'll switch it off.
And you'll follow it.
More practical, yeah, than human. Sometimes I'm like my younger brother says you have no EQ. So he's like you have IQ but you have no EQ. Any stability, any form of stability, right? It's not just, and we as humans are meant to have interpersonal relationships, right? We are supposed to have. We depend on our relationship with.
Hello everyone, this is Aina and welcome to Instant Bollywood. Today I'm in conversation with Rakul Preet, who has completed 10 years in the industry, and we're going to congratulate her.
Thank you so much.
Whenever I have spoken to you or seen your interviews, you've given a lot of credit to being disciplined in your life for these 10 years. Do you feel it stemmed a lot from the upbringing that you have?
Absolutely. I think your personality is a reflection of everything that you've learned in your childhood, right? Like you learn from your parents, from the environment that you grew up in. And I had a very disciplined environment at home. I mean, dad being an army officer. So, and when I say discipline, I mean like truly like sleeping till 8 o'clock was a sin. You know, so
in the morning,
sleeping like 8 is really late. So you're supposed to wake up with sunrise, you know, even before school, when you know how school buses used to come at 6:30, 6:45. We used to wake up at 5, go to the park, run a little bit. My mom used to hang us on the rods that, you know, lambe ho jayenge, tangenge, so of course it helped. But there was a lot of like activity involved and no lethargy. There's no space for lethargy. There's no place for like, even as kids, if you throw tantrums, that was never actually seen around only because no other kid is also doing it, because because army you always grow up in cantonments, right? So everyone is similar,
right?
So I think that discipline really came into me.
You know, you even spoke about how you've always been this organized person. Even if you're doing nothing, you will have a schedule and a timetable. Do you actually give yourself that break that I'm not going to plan my day? Aaj kuch nahi
I can't
karungi.
do that.
Like even one day.
I cannot do that because I love to do things. Even as a kid, I remember my mom telling me, she says that, you know, I used to be like, acha, ye ho gaya, ab kya karu? Acha, ab ye ho gaya, ab kya karu? Mom, I finished drawing, now what do I do? So I was always a very active child.
But is this nature of yours kind of does it ever work adversely for you? Because you're in a profession जहाँ पे when you finish one project, you don't know आपका दूसरा project कब start होने वाला है.
And you have those gaps, But
so frustrating.
So Ajay sir would call me ये daily worker है. During De De Pyar De, I remember. She's not an actor. ये रोज काम करते ना, डेली वर्कर, ये डेली वर्कर है. तुम क्या 2 दिन की छुट्टी थी, जाके आ गए, इधर इवेंट करके, उधर ये करके, वो करके. Everyone used to make, like Love Sir also would make fun of me at that point, because till actually in the South, I never had that, because you are always working on multiple films there.
So there's no gap.
There's no gap. Sometimes there's an overlap. Sometimes you're doing day somewhere and night somewhere. It still goes like the old school way of working, right? So at every point, I was doing 3 or 4 films while I was based there. When I came to Hindi, here things work very differently, because you give like 3 months window for a film and they could shoot 45 days in those 3 months, and the other days you're not. So it took me about 2 years to sort of be okay with it, that you're actually not a 9 to 5 job person. It's okay to have free days. It's taken me a lot of work to be okay with it. I was not okay with it. I would be very restless. Okay, what do? I have to find things to do. I can't just be like sitting and watching TV. I can't do that. I like to watch TV, but that also has to have a limit, because I'm so disciplined that I'll tell myself not beyond 2 hours, my eyes will get spoiled. Thak, I'll switch it off.
And you'll follow it.
Right now I was on New Year holiday and we were about 20 friends, and I was like, guys, let's go here, and then they're like, no. Just do not make a breakfast plan. Nobody is waking up for you to wake up at breakfast and we'll go to breakfast. Nothing. Just eat here. Like, okay, sorry. So I am that person.
You know, you always even mentioned about how being an actor was not in your mind initially. It happened to you with how things went. And you only knew one thing, that you don't want to struggle. That was your motto in life. But when was that point where you actually fell in love with the idea of acting and you were like, I have done my maths, but I am not going to fall back on option B. It is acting.
No,
for the
it
rest
was
of
never
the life.
that I'm not going to fall back on
That was
option
always
B.
there.
That was always there. The first time I faced camera for a film was actually in my first year of college while I was doing mathematics. And that I just did as a hobby. कि अच्छा ठीक है पैसे मिल रहे हैं film करके आते हैं, I'll make pocket money. But then I did that film and I really enjoyed the process of being in front of a camera, and that's when I thought, okay, great, I want to give this a try. Let me finish my graduation. And I remember at that time my father said that if you want to do this, we are happy. You can be on correspondence and like pursue your dreams.
Yeah.
And I was the one who said no, I want to complete my graduation because masters is something I can do even today. I can do at any point in life.
Yeah.
But I want to have that basic graduation degree. So when I even moved to Bombay to give auditions and to try my hand at acting, I knew that I'd given myself 2 years. I'm going to give it 100% for 2 years, and if it doesn't work out,
then
on my own, in my own way and dignity and things, then I'll go back to studying because I knew I was good in studies.
Yeah. Financial growth ever in your head, like okay, मुझे monetarily भी I need to see myself like that. I want these things materialistically also because every
Not
human
materialistic,
has that.
but yes, monetary, of course. And not in a bad way, but yes, I remember when you make your first few thousands, it makes you so happy. Because when I was in college, my pocket money was 2,000 rupees a month, right? So I was like, that's why I did that film. I said, चलो ठीक है first film कर लेते I'll make money in lakhs, and I think I was getting 3 lakhs or something, and I thought I'll buy a Ritz car. So I bought that car, and I was the first one in my friends to buy a car. So it was purely that. It was purely like to be able to do what I want to do and fulfill my desires and dreams, and getting like a phone for my dad or getting something for my brother or my mom. So it really gave me a lot of joy. And of course, I think monetary growth is important for any individual in terms of you should. I think I'm someone who really even today feels that it's very important to save, and it's very important to secure yourself for the future because life can be so uncertain. So yeah.
Even the last time we spoke, you told me that I know how to compartmentalize things, my emotions. I feel like you know how to draw your boundaries well.
Yeah.
Is that naturally in you, or did you learn that with the industry teachings?
No, I think naturally.
Always been this person.
I see. You don't generally use. Say that you have 100 weapons in you, right? You have 10 weapons in you. You don't really use a weapon till there's a need to use it. But you have it with you. You only sort of discover it when there is a situation.
True. But you're human. कभी-कभी वो हो जाता है. Like you.
I think I'm more practical than human. Sometimes I'm like my younger brother says you have no EQ. So it's like you have IQ but you have no EQ. So I'm like shut up. So but yeah, I think it's not that I don't have EQ, but I think I'm more practical a person in life. Of course there are days, but then you sort of come out of it, right? Like you're like, okay, fine. I am a believer, and I'm a spiritual person, and I'm a believer that whatever you're feeling is not dependent on anybody else but you yourself. If someone's actions are affecting you, then it's your problem.
Yeah.
Because it's your expectation that is wrong. So I follow that in life, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, whether it's a film working, not working, it's okay. Life is beyond that. I remember I was doing this interview with Sadhguru once, the first time I interviewed him, on the couch with Sadhguru happens. And I asked him about, these questions. And he said, you'd be silly if you think the world is going to be fair to you. It is not.
It's not.
So it's actually in your hand as to how easy or complicated you make your life.
You even spoke about keeping that in mind. You even spoke about how over the years you've been replaced, and that was like kind of a
in the beginning of my career.
In the beginning of your career, which was like a work heartbreak at that point of time. Do you give credit to those lessons also?
Absolutely.
Because of which you're like now being able to keep this is a part of the process.
Absolutely. And can I tell you, nothing teaches you better than rejection.
People say that, but is that actually
it is true? It is true. See, it also depends on how your temperament is. There are two ways, right? If I've been rejected and I sort of become victim, and I say, you know, people are bad and this only happens to me, and you know, I don't want to do this, then you're accepting failure.
Yeah.
And if you are a person who feels, okay, great, then become better, that nobody can reject you.
Yeah.
There are two ways. It's like seeing the glass half full or half empty.
Yeah.
Because आपको फिल्म से निकाल देंगे, उसके बाद उससे बुरा क्या होगा?
हाँ.
For that moment.
You have nothing to lose then.
For that moment. So you've had that. So next time when you go on a film set, you'll work harder.
Yeah.
And slowly you just know that you have to work hard.
Talking about your first, when you came to the Hindi film industry, do you remember how Yariya happened? And today, if you look back at your filmography, do you feel like, okay, I'm really proud I did this, I'm extremely glad? Which is that film?
Absolutely. See, I can't pick one film, but I feel very proud of the journey. And I'm not trying to like, oh wow, you know, I know that there are many people who've done way better, like way more. And I still feel like there's a lot more for me to do. But if I see the graph, there's been a growth, which is a constant growth.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you know, fluctuating. But there's been a growth. That could be a day-to-day basis growth, that could be a year-to-year basis growth, but there's been personal growth, professional growth.
Yeah.
And when I say personal, I mean like even as an individual, you know, understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, becoming a better person, becoming more aware and evolved. Like everything is a growth, right?
Yeah.
So I feel, of course, and it's coming to your first part of the question, of course I remember how Yariya was cracked. It was one of the auditions that I'd given. Very clearly I remember in 2011 October I moved to Bombay, and I remember I auditioned in December. And there were many auditions you give at that point. Aram Nagar mein line mein khade rehte the, ye audition, wo audition. I'd given one film's audition, which I didn't know was what. And then I got a call back in May saying that we want to call you for a second round of audition for this film that we'd spoken, you'd come in December. This was 2012 now. And that's when I learned it's a T-series film, and you know, they're launching newcomers and it's going to be high on music and all of that. So they had like another 2 rounds of auditions then, and then June-ish I had signed the film.
Yeah.
So October we started shooting the film.
Wow. So one thing led to another.
Yeah.
Do you feel you're less naive than you were?
Absolutely.
I mean, of course, that happens, but is there a drastic change in Rakul? Because you spoke about personal growth.
Absolutely. I think I was very naive, and
in what way?
So when you say, see, you're very protected in an army upbringing. Yeah. Because your world is the cantonment, right? Your school is there, your friends are there, your club is there, your extracurricular activities are there. You think this is the world. Which is why army kids call bahar ke logo ko civilian, na?
Yeah.
Civilians don't know, civilians are not disciplined. It's a very army lingo, right?
Yeah.
So you grow up in such a protected environment that when you come out of it and you see that the world is really different, but you are very honest and naive. So I still have to sometimes tell myself, do not always give your opinion out.
Yeah.
You know, because it's coming from a good place, but if people don't know you, then it can also be very intruding.
This journey has been a little extra special for you because you found companionship on your way. How do you feel like, and I'm sure you never thought about this because like you said, you're very practical and you treated your professional career as extremely professional. When you found love on the way, like how did you kind of, process that for yourself?
It's very normal.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that. I feel like see, we're all human beings, right?
Yeah.
I could be a doctor. A doctor's never asked that question that you found love, how does it feel? Does the surgery change?
No, not.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's as normal. I'm a human being. I'm a girl who found a compatible person.
Yeah.
And it's amazing for my personal aspect.
Yeah.
And then I am somebody who's a very strong individual who's working on the professional front.
Yeah.
And that's a completely different part of me. So these are two things that I don't intertwine.
Yeah.
And Yeah.
But does it help you to be like, it influences you in a better way? You don't
Absolutely.
really realize.
Absolutely. I think any stability, any form of stability, right? It's not just, and we as humans are meant to have interpersonal relationships, right? We are supposed to have. We depend on our relationship with our parents to begin with, the relationship with our siblings, our relationship with our friends, then with our partner, then with your kids. That's the cycle of life.
Yeah.
And if there is a disturbance in any relationship, it is affecting you.
Yeah.
When there is a lot of people have issues at home.
Yeah.
They don't have the most healthiest, unfortunately, the most healthiest relationship with their siblings or their parents. That disturbs them.
Yeah, it
reflects. It will obviously come into your energy field and the way you are processing things and the way you are reacting and the nature that you create for yourself. So I feel that's a blessing, that every relationship should be given that respect and dealt with beautifully, because we are people who, what we are doing in our professional space is completely different.
Yeah.
And the person that you become is from the relationships that you have in your life.
Yeah.
So
You glow when you're happy, like they say.
Yeah. I think stability.
Yeah, stability is the word.
Stability or contentment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I end this, I want to ask you that, with the kind of work you've done, like you did a Chhatri Wali also, and also working with Ram Charan and Junior NTR and Amitabh sir, where do you see yourself, like, ahead from here? Because,
Hopefully 10 years from now, we're again doing an interview celebrating
For 20 years.
No, I definitely see myself working at every phase of my life.
Like the ambition is still strong.
Of course, I am a workaholic, and I'm a workaholic to a level that I could neglect myself but not my work. Like work comes before me.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people might say, oh, I'm tired, I can't shoot beyond this point. For me, it's the other way around. Like if there's work, I'm so greedy for it. I'll give up on my sleep, I'll give up on my comfort, but I really love working. And I feel like I hope actually that I continue to keep doing what I love doing and finding films that I enjoy and hopefully celebrating 20 years.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And yes, we will talk when you finish 20 years with discussing the whole 2 decades that have gone. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you so much.
This was very nice, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you. Hi guys, if you like this video, then please like, share and subscribe to Instant Bollywood.